Kathy and
Does
Tracy.
Does that mean we're not stressed out?
Oh, we are.
Oh, okay.
But it means we bring this man back to the couch. Dr. Aziz, a popular guest on Portland Today. Welcome back, Doctor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're talking about being overwhelmed, overbooked, stressed out, being an American. That's what I'm calling it.
That's
because
right.
that's how most of us operate on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I only have about 30 seconds for this interview.
Because
I got to go.
15, Doctor.
I got stuff
15
to
seconds,
do.
sorry.
Well, run us through some signs of being overbooked.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, just it's a feeling that we all know, right? It's that sense of there is more to do than I have time to do it in. I call it time scarcity. You know, like money scarcity, there's time scarcity. I don't have enough. I don't have enough.
And usually it's both.
Right?
Yeah.
Money
What a
and
life
time.
we leave.
Yeah,
or
well,
lead.
time is money, right?
Yeah,
After all,
right.
so we have that, and then it creates this state of anxiety where we start to feel overwhelmed. We start to feel like, oh no, what if something else gets added to my plate? What's next? And then our body actually starts to go into a fight or flight threat mode, as if something bad or dangerous is going to happen, but we're just driving to work or picking up our kids.
Are there adults between the ages of 30 and 54 with kids and jobs who don't have those feelings every day? Because I just thought that was the norm. That is my 365. That doesn't ever go away, in my opinion.
And you know, unfortunately, I think that is true. I think that especially in the Western world, especially in America, there's this heightened pace, especially if you get in big cities where that is the norm. Now, that just because that's the norm doesn't mean it's necessarily healthy for our bodies over time.
Well, we know it's not healthy, but what are we supposed to do? I mean, there are too many things to get done.
I've talked to work about letting me work 3 days a week. That doesn't fly.
For the same of pay.
Yeah,
But I like the way
absolutely.
I like the way you're thinking. And in fact, that's actually the first thing I recommend is that people start to take control. Now, you might not have exact control over the days that you work or the hours that you work, but we all want to take a step back and realize that we're the owner of our lives. We're the architect of our lives. And so even though it seems like everyone else is making us do those things, we are at choice. And on some level, we're choosing to take on a certain position, take on a certain role. Now, maybe there's some non-negotiables, like the hours that you work.
Right.
But if you really slow down and look at everything you're saying yes to, you might be the one who's putting more on your plate.
How do you say no effectively?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's just giving yourself permission to say no. The reason that most of us don't is not because we can't, it's because we feel guilty,
Yes.
feel like
Absolutely.
we shouldn't.
Or you
Obligated.
feel like you want to help.
You want to
right?
help, you don't want them to be upset with you. And so really what it comes to is an act of confidence, and to reframe, to change it and say, you know what, saying no isn't letting them down or being bad, a bad son, a bad employee, a bad mother. It's actually an act of taking care of myself.
Someone once taught me, I didn't learn it that well, but they taught me that no is a complete sentence. You don't have to make up 12 excuses.
After
you
the
just
no.
say, no, I'm so sorry,
Right.
I can't.
You have something you call the ultimate schedule. How do we achieve the ultimate schedule?
Again, kind of what you're going with. So I recommend starting a couple months out from today. So think about the fall.
Okay.
Go to your calendar.
First day of kids' school, maybe.
First day of kids. So go to your calendar and say, what would my ideal week look like? Now here's the thing, it's so far out that you probably don't have that much booked yet. So then you actually start to put in the blocks. You know what, I'd like to have an hour for myself in the morning. That might sound insane. Maybe that's like, you got kids, like
Right.
who's gonna do that? Well, maybe I'd wake up an hour early. Well, how could I
For
do
you,
that?
that'd
I'd be
be
tired.
midnight.
Right?
Well,
maybe I'd
you go to bed an hour
Maybe I go to bed and I'd be like, well, how would I do that? But that's today thinking. You map it out 2 months ahead of time. You start to construct this schedule, and then as it gets closer and someone's like, hey, you want to come out and do that thing in a couple weeks? You're like, oh wait, actually, no.
I need my hour in the
I need
morning.
my,
I
yes.
already have something
Yes.
scheduled.
I'm buying into this. Now, my first 43 years of life would suggest I will not do what you just said, but I think that there's definitely some value. That makes sense. Because you know how you commit to something like 5 months down the road, you're like, okay, yes.
Yeah,
It
don't
sounds
think about
fine.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it gets there and you're like,
why did I say yes to this?
Which brings up my next question. So look at a weekend. You know, you have 2 days, a Saturday and Sunday typically. How many activities do you allow on this ultimate schedule?
Well, that's the thing.
Your
is
own personal schedule, Dr. Aziz.
My own personal
Yeah.
schedule. So I like to keep the weekends as spacious as possible. I actually like to keep my life as spacious as possible. So I've done MIDI versions of the ultimate schedule to where I have time for myself in the morning. I don't schedule 2 things back to back if I can help it. And then especially on the weekends, so Saturday is just with my wife and my kids, just the whole day. And I have time in the morning for myself. Did you know I actually have On weekends, I have 3 hours to myself in the morning.
How old are these kids?
What time do you wake up?
Here's the thing. Now you guys are going to think I'm crazy. That time is from 3 to 6:30 a.m.
Okay, I do think you're crazy.
But no, how old are the kids? Are you into
the kids are 1.5 and 3.5.
Okay, wait till the youth sports set in, right, Drew?
That's true. But listen, that guy's
over.
dedicated. So you're obviously going to bed early on Friday in order to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday,
I go to bed
just to
about
have
8.
your alone time.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And that's time for creativity, for writing, for playing the guitar, for meditating. Sometimes I just get up and watch Planet of the Apes. It's me time. I got to take care of me.
No, you know what? Honestly, that if you ever have, and I haven't had it for a while, that Saturday morning with a cup of coffee and no one else up in the house, regardless of what time it is the best. And I don't care what's on TV.
Yeah.
You're the greatest man to ever live.
I know. We would like you to come more often.
And now that we know that you play the guitar, next time you come in, you bring the guitar. That'll help us stress less on a Tuesday.
You guys have the pro band.
Yeah. Dr. Aziz Ghazipour, the author of The Art of Extraordinary Confidence. Boy, you can help us make some extraordinary changes in our life. Thanks for coming by today.
I love that ultimate schedule.
Yeah.